was unfortunately taken a few days ago. He was out eating with his girlfriend, and people rolled up on him and tried to take everything he had. Actually, they took it, and they also took his life, which is a real tragedy. So we will be discussing um, artist safety along with what it takes to build a successful business legacy. We want to hear from you with your questions. If you have ideas about what all this means, we are definitely looking to connect with you right here on WVOX 1460 AM. The phone number is 914-636-0110. Again, that phone number is 914-636-0110. And our guest coming up is Jude Sanauer, co-owner of Shop Butterfly, or Butterfly, a boutique shop that has a tremendous amount of style, class, setting the trend, and looking forward to having you all tap in to talk about reimagining fashion, building a successful business legacy, but also talking about safety. And you'll get to learn about his vision when he calls in. But for now, there's a lot to catch up on in the news. Last week, we reflected on the 21st anniversary of 9/11. 9/11 is a very important date for me, having fortunately was one of the lucky ones to not be at the World Trade Center that day, but nonetheless just want to, my thoughts, prayers, and, warmth and comfort for all the families that have lost loved ones on 9/11, and for all those that are dealing with illnesses following 9/11. I just want to make sure you know that I went to school down there. I had a job in the World Trade Center, and thankfully I was not supposed to be in the office that day. And nonetheless, just a terrible tragedy that we must continue to advocate, that we never forget, but we always remember and fulfill our obligation to the victims of 9/11, but also, uplift the memories of those lives lost on that day and the days following due to 9/11 related toxins. So looking ahead now to some other news, recently there are two big things that came out over the past couple of days. One was a shocker, or at least not a shocker to me. Con Edison and other utilities are issuing winter warnings. They're issuing winter warnings for price hikes. This is something that we have to carefully watch because they're pointing out that a polar vortex is forming over the North Pole, and that's going to bring extreme cold this winter. And they're already forecasting higher electric costs for electricity, but also higher costs for natural gas for home heating. And as you recall, last winter everybody was so shocked by the jump in price. So the utilities are warning customers now, and the independent system operator, the grid operator of New York, basically said the same thing. They're very concerned about price volatility starting as early as November. So this will have an impact on the holiday season, and everybody should plan accordingly and be prepared for higher prices. Hopefully, I can tell you that I've advocated for solutions to this, that being expanded access to energy sources, diversifying our fuel sources, including nuclear power. I'm all a fan of nuclear power because it's decarbonized, it's reliable, it's safe. But there are other forms of energy out there, including hydrogen, that can play a huge role in transitioning us to a more lower greenhouse gas emission profile in this region. And once upon a time, we had a very low profile when Indian Point was open, but hey, that ship has sailed. Unfortunately, it's closed, and maybe one day it will reopen in a different type of reactor state. But nonetheless, I just know that higher prices are on the horizon, and this is something that we all are going to have to deal with in a very immediate sense. But the other news that came out that caught my interest was a complaint filed by former Governor Cuomo against the Attorney General Tish James. He essentially pointed out that he believes that the Attorney General was cynical in manipulating the process or manipulating the legal system for political gain. And he pointed out that in his 48-page complaint that he went above and beyond to distort the facts, exclude information that was beneficial to the governor, former governor, and essentially run for governor because that's what she wanted to do. She wanted to get the competition out of the way, and that's something that he is claiming in his complaint. Now, I can tell you that I don't think it's far-fetched. I think that there's definitely some there's some elements of the report that were politicized, but also the fact that the Attorney General decided to run for office in the middle of all this is a clear signal that she had higher political ambitions and was going to pursue those. But nonetheless, that process will play out. I definitely have thoughts, comments, some inside information, I would say, given my not so great relationship with that office when I tried to get them to help me clean out the real problems in Mount Vernon. When I tried to get them to help me clean out the real problems in Mount Vernon. But lo and behold, 2 years after I left, an audit comes out that says $170 million is missing in the city of Mount Vernon, and nothing's being done about that. But whatever the case, I know that there's a lot to talk about there. We'll unpack it on another show. Next week, we'll have on our regular guest, Charlie Knapp, former AUSA, who will talk about many of these issues from Governor Cuomo to the Attorney General, and also our beloved Mount Vernon. But we'll talk about some broader issues with President Trump and the potential indictment that he's facing next week. So stay tuned for that next Wednesday. Now today on the air and on the line is our guest Jude Shop Butterfly, a culture crafter, someone that has a big vision for reimagining fashion. Thank you for joining us, Jude.
Hey, how you doing, Rick?
Hey man, we're doing tremendous. Now, can you tell us now? We're going to be approaching a break pretty soon, but before we go to break, can you just tell everybody a little bit about what Shop Butterfly is or what your store is about?
Absolutely. We're a new footwear boutique, catering to everyone from every under 15 to right now with the local stuff and see where we try to play clear. We hope that everybody comes in as a category and uses it as that butterfly.
So you're telling me that you know you're going to make the old cool again? Oh man, I can't wait for that. Don't change that dial. You listen to what happened here on 1460 WVOX. What's up, y'all? Thanks for joining. Gotta wave to everybody. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for joining. And
Yes, it's WVOX.
I'll be right back. Y'all stay right there, all right? Actually, hey, Gerald,
Which shows a slight improvement last month.
try to get Gerald's attention real quick. You have to listen to this news real quick.
The highest level since 2008.
Man over here is rocking out, over here dancing out there.
The
Hey,
shop
hey, Gerald.
has expanded.
All right, hold on, guys, 1 second.
And Newport shares are sharply lower. The steelmaker lowered its forecast for the current quarter. That's your Fox Business Report.
Can you
Invested in youth.
Hi, I'm Lisa Booth for Bishop Gold Group. Federal Reserve recent announcements is putting the country on course for a deep recession. That means wild swings in the markets and high inflation will continue to put your retirement savings at risk. Protect the money you worked so hard to save for retirement by investing in gold. Let Bishop Gold Group show you how tangible gold investments can help secure your future. Dial pound 250 from a mobile phone and say the keyword Bishop Gold or visit bishopgoldgroup.com.
This is WVOX at 1460 for Green Haven, Fox Meadow, and Larchmont Manor.
1560.
And now back to What Happened Here with Rich Thomas, former mayor
Here we
of
go.
Mount Vernon on 1460 WVOX.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. My name is Rich Thomas. You're listening to What Happened Here, and we are here every Wednesday from noon to 1 p.m. asking the question of what happened here with a situation. Sometimes you see a car crash and everybody be rubbernecking. You're like, what happened here? That's the same situation. We seek to unpack the question of what happened with a situation, a decision, something that impacts us all. And we're on 1460 on your AM dial, worldwide at WVOX.com. And as we get into the show, we have our guest on, Jude Sanauer. Did I pronounce it right? Your last name right? Sanjor. We'll never do that again. Sanjor. Now look, man, his name is exquisite, just like his boutique. He has a shop called Shop Butterfly where he makes old fly again. So I want to introduce everybody to a culture crafter, the co-owner of Butterfly, a specialized purveyor of the freshest merchandise. And he curates, the key word, you have to keep that in mind, curates the best products, because when you're in fashion, you have to not only be fashionable but ahead of the trend. And this is what you call a trendsetter. So thank you for joining the call, Jude. Before we went to break, you told everybody a little bit about your store. Can you just, tell us a little bit about you first and your journey to opening the store?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me first off. The journey started about 11 years ago. I worked in a corporate management for about that time now. I was the global sales director for JB Cricket Planes for quite some time. I was a head buyer at a popular streetwear boutique in New York called Like the Butter. And after making a lot of money, I decided to make that for myself.
Huh. So tell me this. You said when you were working as a head buyer, you were basically saying you're going out there putting your artistic eye to work for other people. And then you said, you know what? I'm going to do it for myself. And then how did that transition happen? I'm pretty sure it wasn't a walk in the park. Can you tell everybody about, being an entrepreneur and some of the challenges you faced when you basically said you were going to do you?
Entrepreneurship is not a finger hard. I've always did that. It's not an easy road. There's a lot of no's along the way, which I think, but you have to stay consistent and
Mm-hmm.
something that's about hard, isn't it? You'll put through so that makes it go, yeah. And then that's all triple.
So it took dedication, hard work, preparation to get your concept out of an idea into an actual tangible space. And when you were deciding to, select a location, you picked up a map and you look at this map and said, I can go anywhere in the tri-state region. I can go to Brooklyn. I can go to the Bronx. I can go to Manhattan, Harlem, Washington Heights. I can go to Queens. I'm not even gonna say Staten Island because that's like you need a passport to get out there, man. It's so far. Shout out to Staten Island, my people out there. But man, you said let me come to the home of hip hop, money earning Mount Vernon. What made you, settle on? Not even settle on. What made you say, I am confident that Mount Vernon is going to be the home of Butterfly?
One, just being a kid who grew up on hip hop, just knowing that Mount Vernon is a cultural hub. And I think that, people have forgotten it over the years, and by choosing to settle there, I feel like I could help bring that back. I'm not going to say I'm going to be the only guy doing that, but to definitely help bring that glory back to Mount Vernon. That was one of the biggest reasons why. And then looking at it from the strategic standpoint, I saw that there was nothing there. I saw that, breakfast kind of get dry and like butterfly. So it just made perfect sense to just marry the two, the attitude and also the cultivar.
So you're a first mover, and everybody, you can tell who the pioneers are by the arrows in their back. And I can tell you that being a first mover, you're not alone. On your block is Harmon Designs. Harmon Designs is an upscale interior design store launched by Heavy D's sister-in-law and older brother Floyd Myers, Robin and Floyd Myers. They have a phenomenal, yep, shout out to them. They have a phenomenal interior design space, and they've invested quite a bit into their building, into their business, and they're very much like you. You said you're going to raise the bar in an area in Fourth Avenue. Everybody, this is the second part of Fourth Avenue where Butterfly is. It is up the block from a hip hop royalty family shop that made a similar decision that they want to have a high-end service, high-end presence, high-end furniture for sale in the community. And he kind of just said, you know what, attracted to that same energy. And on that block lives DJ Jazzy Jeff, a historic DJ in the hip hop world, one of the first women DJs out. But also, when you look at most recently some of the talent that has come out of Mount Vernon, like Capella Gray, phenomenal, top of the charts, just doing, great things. Hopefully he wins, one of the Grammys. I think he deserves it.
So, yeah.
But that type of attention coming out of Mount Vernon, that type of spotlight, someone that, really lives and sets the trends from shops like Butterfly. Can you talk about, the relationship with artists that come through and look to you to help them style, or if not artists, stylists that say, I'm coming to Butterfly because I know they got the fly stuff. I'm gonna leave like Superfly.
Well, I mean, again, going back to Mount Vernon being a cultural hub, you have some of the great fashion industry veterans like Louis Jones, example, who's actually a good friend of mine and who I somebody consider a big homie. He's come by the shop and shop and supported us from day one. Uh, so much so that he didn't tell me when he was coming by. He just kind of came in on his own. But you have such dope people like him, you have Misha Hiltons of the world from the Mount Vernon area. You have her son Nico Brim, who's a big up and coming aspiring hip hop artist. You have great guys like Casilla Gray who come in and shop with us and supported us. And actually even wants to work with us in different capacities. We just got to figure out how to get that together.
Now, those collaborations is what you call the seed of innovation. Can you stick around for one more segment, Jude? Absolutely. Don't change that dial. Listen to what happened here. That's the thing. Um, keys are given, and you're right to ask a question if they do anything or contribute to the city. Um, I know that when I recognized Tony Dofat, shout out to Tony, and for people that are watching online, just want to respond to a comment about why do mayors give keys to the city to celebrities that don't do anything for the community. I just want to be clear that when I recognize Tony Dofat and I recognize the Locks and recognize DMX, I recognize them for doing them or doing what they do best for the community and support the community. Just to give you a quick example, DMX and his spiritual, battles and praying for everybody, making sure that we all have wisdom and knowledge and reflect on his journey and his struggles. But also, the Locks, they give back to their community all the time, from Yonkers to Mount Vernon. And in addition, Tony Dofat, he was working with us to build a music studio in Mount Vernon, an amazing one with the best equipment, best talent to come in and not only perform there, but teach in the schools. But when you have politics getting away, because you have, dirty politics, it really stops efforts. And that was one of the efforts that Tony can tell you more about. But nonetheless, I just know that when you give recognition, it should be for community benefit. So I agree with you 1,000%.
On Destination Plus.
Welcome back. Welcome back. We about to come back from break.
Visit today.
So our guest today is Jude Sanjour. Jude Sanjour. He is co-owner of Butterfly over on 4th Avenue. A great spot. Highly recommend you check him out. This is like the best Christmas gift you could give to a kid, which is a dope set of gear. And for those that are watching online, you can see the website and the Instagram. You see they got something with Styles P. They got a back to school supply drive. And they got some stuff that, you don't even see it in magazines because it's that fly. So y'all need to check out Shop Butterfly on IG. Y'all need to check out Shop Butterfly. That's right, Shop Butterfly on IG on Instagram. And then on the website, it's YO Butterfly. And it's butter with a T. YOBUTTAFLY. So y'all need to check it out. Check it out. They got some fly gear. I tell you.
Shelley's Minuteman Press is a terrific resource for individual and small to medium-sized companies who want something very special.
And when you look at their store, I want you to look at the architecture inside the store. I want you to look at the floors. The floors are like white, beautiful marble. You got black and white accents. It is so crisp, a lot of glass, clean, sharp edges. The eye just, it's like the Toys R Us, for clothes, for those that are into fashion, like me. So I'm excited to talk with, man, why does this thing tell me to use the app? Man, get out of here.
Forecast Westchester County in the vicinity for this Wednesday.
It's all right. We're going to fix that in a second. You watch, guys.
Out west, highs will climb to around 80. Clear skies tonight, overnight lows blowing back to lower 60s. Sunshine continues on Thursday, high 70 to 75. Mostly sunny to the upper 70s for highs on Friday.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Coming back.
Monday. See Butler area 2.4 T60 WQX, a Whitney Global News Station. Very easy for you to get off here and talk to your neighbors. Can someone talk to me and the world? This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. Voting is yours. 1460 and worldwide at
Denzel got a school named after him. So there you go. Doing his thing. Supporting the kids, loving the community. Here we go. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to 1460 on your AM dial or worldwide on WVOX.com. WVOX, a Whitney Global Media Station. My name is Rich Thomas, the former mayor of Mount Vernon. And our show is called What Happened Here? And we're here every Wednesday from 12 to 1. And we ask a question, what happened here with a situation that is interesting? And what I find extremely unique and something to celebrate is small business owners. A small business owner that had that dared to pursue their dream and dared to change the world. And we're talking today with an entrepreneur, a culture crafter, a co-owner and partner in a boutique called Butterfly, Buttafly. And I'm telling you, you go to their store, you're going to leave like Superfly. It is located in Mount Vernon, but online, if you want to look it up on Instagram, it is Shop Butterfly. That's Shop Buttafly. If you look them up online, it's YO butterfly.com. So on the line with us is Jude Sanjour, the visionary that brought us an amazing space, a space that I was commenting in between breaks, Jude. You didn't just walk in an empty space. You really recreated the shop from the ground up. Can you tell us a little bit about your why you decided to invest um, such energy into the space to make it look like a palace?
Well, yeah, so you're right. We didn't invest in empty space. We actually invested a 99-cent store, a variety store. And we literally gutted it out and created what you see today. But my vision behind building something so beautiful in Mount Vernon is because, well, why not? That's the answer I always get everyone. I get a lot of people that come in and they ask why Mount Vernon or why on the south side on 4th Ave. And I always say, why not? I feel like we deserve, as Black and brown people, a premium shopping experience within our own community where we don't have to run to Manhattan or even the Bronx or even other areas of Westchester County to have a great shopping experience.
And that is something that is in Mount Vernon's DNA. Fourth Avenue was always known as a shopping destination, and you are not alone in your energy and your vision. I can tell you right now that that Mount Vernon will be coming back. There's a huge focus on trying to revitalize communities. And I can only tell you that there will be a lot of support for you and the small businesses, especially on Fourth Avenue, to keep rising. And what I want to just take a quick pause for those that are listening that don't know, artists, musicians are always in the spotlight. And while they are dressing fly, their safety is a concern. And recently there was a shooting incident with PNB. He's a up and coming rapper that was taken way too soon. Can you just tell everybody a little bit about the seriousness of artist safety and just talk about the transition from music to regular life?
I mean, it's a really weird and particular space to be in because a lot of artists are being in music, um, but you also are a regular human being at the same time, and you go through all the same emotions and ups and downs, right? Just like anybody else. But when it comes to having that balance, it's like you have to just play it smart, I think, and obviously a lot of you members wear jewelry and they wear watches, etc. But you gotta either have armed security with you, I hate to say it, or just leave it at home. Uh, because you have to think about your safety and not just your safety, but your family and well-being when you leave the house.
And this is something that I know is going to be a real challenge because between the internet and all the trolls that comment, people unfortunately don't understand that life is gift. And I can only tell you that it's my hope that this loss of PNB, a very talented young artist, I was working with Nipsey Hussle before he went away, before he got taken away, excuse me, and I can only tell you that. It is real tragic to see that jealousy and desire for some of these material goods result in somebody, you know, taking a gun and taking a life because they want something so bad that they're willing to destroy somebody else to get some temporary item. Now, I understand that, when we're dealing with music and we're dealing with celebrities, we're dealing with a lot of different emotions, as you already pointed out, but there has to be some kind of recognition. And there has to be, I think, more needs to be done in the community to kind of talk down and these attacks on our musicians, our artists, because they definitely create a lot more than when they're gone.
I agree with you 120%. It's such a tragic situation, losing people like PNP Rock and also, people like Nipsey Hussle who are so influential in their community and doing all these great things to uplift their community. It's sad, like, they go into the jealousy take over and then, people like that are going through so.
And look, your store is very much like the Marathon store, something that's bringing something unique, something that's a premium shopping experience. Can you just tell everybody, about what they can expect when they walk into Butterfly? Because, this is not like, Amazon that knows the algorithm of what to show you. This is about what are you going to get when you walk in those doors.
Well, I mean, you'll get a few things, but carefully selected product is one. Also, you get again a premium shopping experience because a boutique is not like a H&M or Zara when you walk in and kind of help yourself. It's supposed to be greeted. It's supposed to be helped and given service to a different level. So you leave knowing that you spent your money, but it was well spent because you got that as a premium experience.
And you have talented people that work in the store that can help you, you know, accelerate your ideas and your vision. And if you see something, they'll help you either secure it, or they'll help you make sure you fit that that idea that you're coming with. And I'm looking at your website now, and you got some Saucony originals, you got some Lacoste. You also have what is this? Some iconic Puma suede. Man, you are really bringing it back. And this jungles, this is something that again I see it online, I see it on TV, and it's nice to know that it's right down the block from me and my community. And I hope everybody you go check out Butterfly at 148 South 4th Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York. Again, that's 148 South 4th Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York. You should definitely call them or check them out online at yobutterfly.com. Remember, that's butter with a T, Buttafly, and also on Instagram. Now, Jude, I know we're approaching the final break, and I know you have to run. Any final thoughts that you want to share with people that are aspiring to open a business, people that are looking to do something and achieve their dream?
Yeah, I want to say deep dive into your passion. Definitely research before jumping in. Really understand the field or the business that you're trying to get into. Learn as much as you can. If you're a younger person, internships are a great opportunity to learn about fields that you're curious about. I was an intern in my past. Telling you that those things have helped me gain the knowledge that I need to now be who I am today. So just deep dive into it and learn as much as you can before going in.
So starting from the bottom and climbing up there's no shortcut to the top. Is that what you're saying?
Yep, greatness is a process, it's a journey, so go into it.
Well, look, thank you so much for joining us, Jude. We'll be back for one more segment after this, but don't change that dial. Listen to 1460 on your AM dial. What happened here? No, I think he said he had to run, so he only had 30 minutes today. So I got the last segment. Thank you.
And national news. Here is the latest update from Fox News Radio on 1460 WGNS.
News, I'm Lillian Wu. President Biden's in Detroit making a big push for electric vehicles.
The Detroit Auto Show will feature a number of new electric vehicles made in the U.S. as part of a new federal incentive program included in the Democrats' climate tax and health care law. President Biden plans to showcase those cars in his visit today and announce approval of $900 million in infrastructure funding for EV charging stations across 53,000 miles of highway.
Fox's Jared Halpern.
Republicans have criticized the climate initiatives, arguing it will not reduce gas prices and electric vehicles remain out of reach for most Americans.
And Florida school shooter Nicholas Cruz's defense has suddenly rested their case in the trial to determine whether he's sentenced to death or life without parole. The 23-year-old pled guilty last October to the murders. America's listening to Fox News.
Stay on top of the latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hand.
Related from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
5 inches of rain by tomorrow.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com. Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the New York Army National Guard, aired by the New York State Broadcasters Association and this station. If it's got 4 wheels and goes through, Honda of New Rochelle wants to buy it. That's right, we buy cars. And because used car prices have never been higher, now is the absolute best time to sell your vehicle. Check us out online at HondaofNewRochelle.com or visit us on East Main Street in New Rochelle and ask for Eagle. Working from home? Maybe you don't need your car anymore, or perhaps you're looking to downsize to a one-car household. Whatever the reason, whether it's a car, truck, or SUV, sell us your vehicle now while values are at their highest.
I don't know what's going on with this Instagram feed, y'all. For some reason, my internet keeps quitting on my phone, and it's really frustrating. So I don't know if you're experiencing internet issues on your phone. If you are, drop me a line and let me know. We're approaching our final segment. I encourage you to call in, post a number if you want to call in and talk about a topic for the final segment.
Please join me at lunchtime, 12:30 to 1 p.m., the third Monday of every month on WPON for my show, Full and Talk.
Yeah.
We'll be speaking to experts in the field of orthopedic surgery, joint replacement, sports medicine, nutrition, and rehabilitation.
So welcome back. We're about to wrap up the final segment of the show. Looking forward to discussing some of the final issues of the show.
On the forum at 1460. And now back to What Happened Here with Rich Thomas, the former mayor of Mount Vernon, on 1460 WVOX.
Welcome back. You're listening to 1460 on your AM dial, worldwide at WVOX.com. My name is Rich Thomas. You're listening to What Happened Here. And every Wednesday from noon to 1 p.m. on 1460, we ask the question of what happened here with the situation. What happened here with something that, we find interesting. And our guest earlier today was a culture crafter, an entrepreneur, someone that decided to take a risk and invest in opening a boutique high-end premium store in Mount Vernon on 4th Avenue, and very happy that they did. They have, his name is Jude Sanjour, and Jude has a shop called Butterfly, Buttafly. You go in and you leave like Superfly. The experience is first class, and the space is even better. I can assure you that you will have a great experience. You have some great products at very competitive prices. You can check them out at 148 South 4th Avenue in Mount Vernon, or you can find them online at yobutterfly.com. That's yobutafly.com. Or you can find them on Instagram at Butterfly. And for those that were with us online, we thank you for your questions and your comments. We've been getting a lot of interesting feedback about some of the historic icons that came out of Mount Vernon, and one online commenter raised the point of celebrities that don't get involved, and they were praising the celebrities that do get involved. So definitely much love and respect to all the celebs that put on for their city, like Ruby Lou being one of them. I was actually talking with him the other day, and much love to Denzel Washington, also out of Mount Vernon. Always gives to the community and the kids, especially at the school that's named after him, Denzel Washington Art Center. But one of the things I can tell you before we wrap up and wrap up the show, building a successful business legacy, our guest was talking about making sure you research and you identify the area you want to get in. Don't just jump in right away, because there may be some setbacks that you'll run into that you can avoid by simply asking more questions and understanding some of the dynamics and the issues that are ahead of you. And our guest, Jude, was talking about how he hit a lot of no's. People that said, nope, no, not now, not going to happen along the way, that, put him in a place of rethinking his approach and his strategy to only get bigger and better. And he never gave up. And that's the biggest lesson that I take from small business owners, that don't give up. They dare to pursue their dream. They dare to do it. Win or lose, they know that deep down in their spirit they want to win, and they're not going to give in to the no's that they get right away, and they're going to keep going after it until they succeed. So my hat's off to Jude, and if you need a hat, go get one from Jude on 4th Avenue at Shop Butterfly. And I hopefully you all, Christmas is coming around the corner, these holidays, so definitely think about them for the holidays. You can check them out online at yobutterfly.com. Now I want to turn back to some headlines. There's some headlines that I think are something worth to watch. We have so many different things, and I was talking about internet reliability going into the break. My telephone connections and my internet connections in general, even at work, have been mixed, because I just feel like there's something going on in the background. And I'm looking at the headlines, and they're saying there are numerous cyber attacks being launched to disrupt government and businesses. So I wonder if there's a cyber attack, on our cell phones, or cyber attack on our, internet connections, because it just doesn't feel right that, I'll be next to a 5G connection and it'll show no bars, and, be it an iPhone 13 or iPhone 8, whatever you got, it just, if you have internet, it should be reliable. And I'm hoping that whatever cyber attacks are out there, if there are coming our way, we definitely win that cyber war, because we cannot have an unreliable internet. It just doesn't work. But another set of news that has caught my attention is, as I mentioned earlier in the show, we reflected on 9/11. Last week was the anniversary of 9/11. Thoughts, prayers, condolences, wishes for comfort to all the families and victims of 9/11, especially those suffering now from 9/11 related illnesses. Want to make sure that we never forget and always remember our obligation. Shout out to Senator Chuck Schumer. He, assured the public that the 9/11 fund will be funded to make sure that victims get either the compensation or the healthcare treatments that they deserve. So thank you to him, and hopefully Congress does the right thing and supports 9/11 victims and new victims that will suffer or are suffering from 9/11 related illnesses. And I also want to shout out Assemblymember Sayej from Yonkers. I want to shout out Assemblymember Gary Pretlow from Mount Vernon. And I want to shout out Senator Brian Kavanaugh. They put forward a bill, a two-house bill in the Assembly and the Senate, to advocate that 9/11 victims be found. There are thousands of people that don't know that they were exposed to illnesses down there, and shout out to our assembly members, our legislative leaders for picking up this issue. It's an important one. And as I mentioned to you all, I certainly was a lucky person. I had a job working in the World Trade Center, and that day I was not assigned to work that day. And thankfully, I was not there because it would have been, certain demise. But I just know that I'm a lucky one, and I say my prayers and thanks every day for being one of those few. But nonetheless, I do want to again thank and remember all of the people that lost their life that day, and thank all those that never forgot them, because it's a hard road to go when you lose a loved one. Now, some other headlines that came up that I think is going to continue to play out as we look into next week. Next week, we're going to be on next Wednesday. We'll have our regular guest, Charles Knapp, former AUSA. He and I will be discussing, some of the latest state developments. We'll talk about some of the complaints that were lodged yesterday by former Governor Cuomo against the Attorney General. I think it's a fascinating issue to follow and watch, see how that plays out. But also, we'll be talking about some of the dynamics going on with Trump, because we know that there's a huge effort right now with the DOJ seeking to get progress on January 6 accountability to documents that were removed from the White House that the former president claims that were not classified, or not to the extent that is being presented by the DOJ. So we look forward to unpacking some of those issues about President Trump and what's going on with him. And I can tell you that we have a lot to uncover there and a lot to go into, because that just seems to continue to get more and more interesting as the efforts to unpack and get to the bottom of January 6th continues to play out. And we saw that the Department of Justice has been questioning dozens of people that are around Trump. And the question becomes, will Trump be able to even run for office with all of this pressure coming from a department that he used to once lead? And on the heels of a book that came out by Jeff Berman being the former district attorney for the Southern District of the DOJ, he came out with a book talking about the pressures that he faced to politicize prosecution. So it's a real interesting topic that we'll get into next week. And I thank you all for listening and joining. We'll be back next week on What Happened Here. Take care.